Level Up with your host Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks, let's go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of the Level Up podcast with me, your host Adam Brooks. I'm so happy to be here, and I remember the last time I was speaking to you, I was getting ready for my first event. That has now happened, and I'm so gassed, but I will tell you more about that in a little while. But I want to remind you of all the places where you can hear this podcast. So you can listen on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, and also pretty much anywhere where good podcasts are distributed. So make sure you check us out and share us with a friend.
It's time to level up.
So there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about today. So the first one is that I want to apologise to all of you who've listened to this podcast and then kind of got sidetracked because it hasn't been there the next week. I know that I'm supposed to be consistent, and one of the goals I set for myself is for the rest of this year to make sure I get every episode done each week, and I've kind of got to grips with that by planning out the episodes and knowing what I'm going to talk about and then setting aside some time in my diary. So you should see a difference in that, guys. But I wanted to tell you I'm sorry because I actually know why I'm doing this. I know there's somebody who needs to hear what I have to say, and for sometimes when you've needed me, I haven't been there. So I'm sorry, and I will make sure that I do better. The second thing really is just to encourage you, because I think that a lot of us get sidetracked by life and sidetracked by some of the things that we kind of deem as more important. So for me anyway, I know that I hardly ever put myself first. When I say that, I mean like if somebody comes to me with a need, I'll drop what I'm doing for myself and do for them because I want them to be okay. And I've realized I have to prioritize me as well at different points. So I want to encourage you to look at the things you're like going after and the things you really want to pursue in your life, and don't give yourself any reason or excuse not to go after it. Even if you can help somebody, help them as much as you can, but don't neglect what you have to do because your work is important. And I think that's really a word for myself, but I want to encourage you too, that even if you have this, like me, the personality where you want to help people and you really care about people, you still have to look after yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you have to make sure you're full first. So whatever it is that you're doing, guys, be consistent with it like I'm trying to be, and give yourself a chance for it to be successful. There's no way that you can make a success of something that you don't do consistently. It's actually impossible. So there's no reason for you to be complaining or disappointed when things don't work if you're not being relentless in your pursuit of that thing. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. I'm not telling you off, I'm more telling myself off, if anything. But the second thing I wanted to share with you was just simply this: the journey is more important than the destination. And I share that in the context of my event that I had last week. And I remember thinking to myself, ages ago, I remember talking to one of my friends like a couple of years ago saying, I want to do an event. It was going to be called something completely different, and I was going to do this event, and it was going to be about finding your purpose and that kind of thing. And then I got stabbed, and I realized like after a year or so, just before the year came, I said to myself, I really want to do an event that shares with people the lessons I got from the experience of having nearly died. And I said to myself, I'm going to do this event to help other people to get the moments of clarity in their life that I got when I realized that my life wasn't finite, that I realized that I won't live forever, and that it's not really in my hands how long I have, so I have to live my best life now. And I want to spare people from having to go through anything of calamity or any pain or despair before they have to realize that. I want you to know that you're living your life right now from heartbeat to heartbeat, from breath to breath, and there's absolutely no guarantees of tomorrow or the next second. You're literally here at the mercy of God, effectively. And so really, I had that clarity given to me by my life and death experience, but for many people, they don't have that. And what happens is we get caught in this, like a life that's simulated for us. We kind of just go along with it, and before we know it, it's Christmas, and then it's New Year's, and then it's Easter, then it's summer, then it's Christmas again, and we've lost another year of our lives. So today, I want to encourage you, because for me, this journey of doing the event was really about me excelling and becoming better, because I knew that making an event I'd have to change. I'd have to become consistent. I'd have to become diligent in the details of things. I have to become a finisher, which means I have to start planning and finish planning an event and then execute on it to make it happen. And I wanted all those things for myself, and so I put myself in a position where I either had to do it or I would fall flat on my face. And so in doing this event, what I really got out of it was that I can actually do anything that I set my mind to. I've always had this mindset that I'm capable of more, I can do more, I can level up my life, I can do this, I can do that. But I've never really tested how far I can go. And so this event, in the beginning, I decided I was going to do this event, and it changed along the way of what it was going to become. But what happened was, in the process of doing all that, I became a finisher. I became somebody who actually executes on deadlines and timelines. I became a person who can actually do things when pushed, if necessary, to do them. But I realized I can do these things, and it gave me this massive sense of confidence. So after the event happened, I cannot tell you how amazing I felt. I mean, before, I was bricking it. I'm not going to lie. When I came out to when they announced us to come out, and I came out, I was standing there and I had to put my hands in my pockets, and I had to kind of try and stand in a still position, but my legs were shaking, literally like jelly, and my hands were shaking. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? My mind went blank. I was kind of dazed for a little bit, and even people who were there told me, Adam, I could tell you were nervous in the beginning. And yeah, I definitely grew into it, and obviously it worked out really well in the end. But in the beginning, I was breaking it. But afterwards, the sense of pride I had in myself, and the sense of confidence, knowing that I'd started and finished something, knowing that I completed something I'd set out to achieve, knowing that I was capable of delivering on what I always considered was enormous potential, but never really tested to see how far I could go. That made me feel amazing. And so really, the event was the end result. That was the destination. But all along the way to the event, I checked off different milestones and different points where I'd done things I'd never done before. And that's why I say the journey is more important than the destination, because along the way, I became better. The event was the accumulation of all those things being, done and being in the right place at the right time. But it wouldn't have happened had I not done those little steps on the way. So today, firstly, I want to encourage you to fight any fear you have of doing something that you want to do, and do it. I want you to understand that fear is part of a construct in your mind that you create to keep yourself safe. We live in this place called the comfort zone, and we dwell there because it's safe and it's warm and it's cool and it's nice and nobody can harm us there. But also it's dead. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. So guys, I want to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and just think about the things that you really want. Think about the dreams you've had about doing things, whether it's an event, whether it's about starting a clothing line, whether it's about starting a makeup business. It could be anything, any idea you have in your mind that you want to do. Take away for a minute the fears and think about where they came from. What is the fear actually doing to me? What am I allowing this fear to make me believe about myself? Because I know for a fact, I'm talking from direct experience, the fears I had about doing this event were all based around how people would perceive me, how it would look, what people would think of me, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, none of those things actually matter. And what I realized was I had to change the way I thought about myself. I had to think, rather than what could go wrong with this event, I thought about what could go right, what things will happen as a result of me doing this event. How will people's lives be benefited? How will my life be benefited? And how will this alter the trajectory of my life? And instead of thinking what could go wrong, what could go right, I talked about it at the event. I said, most of us live in a negative world. We think about things from a negative perspective. And really, the fact of the matter is, if we were to take a positive slant on things, the way we look at things and the things we achieve will be completely different. Because when you think about the negative, it's like, oh gosh, but if I do this, this can happen. Imagine if you turned it around and said, well, if I do this, then I might win. If I run the race, if I take the shot, I might win. If I slide into that person's DMs, I might actually get a response. If I actually go for that job that's kind of out of my league, I might get an interview and they might just like me and I might get the job. Like, we always think about the negative, and I want to encourage you to change your perspective. Think about the potential of what could happen if you win. We all know you're not going to win every race. We all know you're not going to do the best in everything you do for the whole of your life. But what I can tell you is, the only people that win are the people that are in the race. The only people that score the shots are the ones that take the shots. The only person that get the dates are the ones who slide into the DMs. Whatever it is you're wanting to achieve, you have to actually do the thing to have a chance of making it happen. No matter how great you are, if you don't take the shot, you'll never score. That's it. It's as simple as that. So I want to encourage you guys just to learn from my experience. I can't tell you how great I feel after that event, and it's encouraged me to do even more, and it's changed my perspective on what I believe I can achieve. And I've even looked at the next event now and what I want to do with that, and how I'm going to make it better, and how I'm going to create a new experience for people. And I really believe that in challenging yourself, you get better. It's not about winning. It's not about success. It's about consistent growth. It's about consistently moving forward. And I had to readdress what I thought success was as well, because we kind of choose the level of success we have based on what other people have done. So I look at someone else's event and think, I want my event to be successful like theirs. For me, I had to define, what would this event be for me? What would the success look like? If I'm doing this event, how will I know it's a success? And I decided that I'd want people to leave feeling motivated, inspired, and ready to take on their own challenges. And I think I've done that. And I think with the evaluations I did, I found out some great positive points of what we did great. And I also found out some things that we could change and do differently. And again, that doesn't mean I failed. That means I'm learning how to be better. And like I said before, on the journey to success, you have to be learning, you have to be growing, you have to be challenging yourself and going against the grain of trying to win everything. And sometimes take the L, which means to take the lesson, move on and go forward with it. So don't want to be preaching to you guys. I just want to let you know that right now I feel very inspired. I'm coming back with a new Level Up event in January. I'll tell you more about that soon. But I want to encourage you guys to face your fears, to look at your life where you are right now and make a decision about, if you're not happy, I'm going to take responsibility to make it different, to fix things, to make my life the way I want it to be. If you are happy, great. But if you feel stuck, you feel like you're trapped, you feel like you're doing things for the sake of doing them, but you don't really know why, just take a few moments and think about where you actually want to be, where you are, and what it is that you can do to push yourself to get into that place. Now, over the last few weeks, when I was developing the branding for the event and stuff, I came up with the slogan, which was never settle, raise your game, level up. And what that really means is that I found that in my life, before all the incidents have happened and before I'd gone through all my experiences, I was very settled in my life. I was very complacent. I had I worked and I had all the things you're supposed to have, but I wasn't pursuing excellence. I wasn't pushing myself. And I realized that in that settled place, I was actually dying, and I could actually feel myself wasting away. Literally, not like the guy in the noodles advert, but I felt myself wasting ways in my potential, my goals, my aspirations. They were just dying with me, just not doing anything with them. And what I realized is that a lot of us have settled in our life because we've realized that, boy, I'm 30 now, I'm not going to get this, I'm not going to get that, so I'd rather take this and have this rather than have nothing. I'd rather be in this relationship with this guy or this girl who doesn't treat me well, but at least it's better than being alone. I'd rather have this job where at least I've got some money coming in every month, rather than take a chance on myself and start my business or go for the career I really want. I'd rather be here than there. Like, we've all, in some area of our life, settled. And I realized that a lot of the time we settle because we don't think we're capable of getting what we want. And I definitely was guilty of that. I was definitely guilty of being a person who would look at what I wanted to get and then think, well, boy, that looks a bit challenging. So instead of raising my game to get to that place where I was prepared and worthy for and of that thing, I was more like, well, boy, let me get something similar to that. At least then I've kind of got what I want, but it's better than nothing. And now the way I feel about things is that I have to go after the thing I want. I can't allow the things I want to escape me because I don't believe in myself. And so the slogan, never settle, raise your game, level up, really means to me and to you guys that if you're in the place in your life right now where you have settled, stop settling, readdress where you want to be, go back to your dreams and your visions and the things you've always wanted, and raise your game to become the person you need to be to get to that place where you can have what you want. I'm talking about the job you want. Okay, cool. Go and study, go back to college, go to night school, go online and do a course to get yourself qualified for that job. Whatever it is you don't think you're ready for or qualified for, go and qualify yourself for. Go and get lessons. Go and find out how you can improve yourself to raise your standards to be capable of achieving that thing. So, yeah, I feel like I'm preaching now. So I'm going to go. I want to let you know, guys, I love you. I'm really passionate about making sure that you hear this message of level up, that you don't settle in your life and become somebody who has regrets in later life. I cannot imagine getting to my old age and thinking, boy, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. Honestly, it scares me to death to think that I'll get to a place in my life where I regret my life and regret the things I didn't do. So I want to encourage you, without having to go through what I've been through, to choose to pursue your dreams, choose to level up, choose to raise your standards and raise your game to match up to what you want, rather than settling for lower or less than you really want or deserve.
Okay, remember what I told you. Be your own boss, love yourself, get up and dance. Level up.
Level up, 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 level up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up.
That's me, guys. I love you. I'll be back soon. Episode 10 will have a guest on there. I won't tell you anything yet, but it's going to be a great guest. So I'm looking forward to that next week. But until then, guys, remember, never settle. Raise your game. Level up. Peace.
All this on me so yummy. All this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy. Yummy all in your tummy.
Are you ready?
Ready, go!
It's time to level up with your host, Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks. Let's go.